Okay. All right. So we talked a lot about a couple things step by step. Every single lesson that we're doing this week is incrementally getting us to the point in which we're slowly learning how to depack, unpack all of that programming that causes stagnant information in the body. But one of the things that we kind of touched on yesterday was the fact that when we are going through a cycle of death and rebirth, letting go of old programs that really don't serve us anymore, sometimes there's a lapse of mourning. We mourn the parts of us that we have to release or we have to let go. And so for today's practice, I'd like to focus on identifying who are you without the programming? Who are you without holding on to the identities that have served as a protection, that has served as an identity from which we build all our relationships in the world? For example, the relationships with our family, with our children, with our partners. We create these specific identities, and it's worked. It's worked. The question is, how have we ever come out into an authentic point? Have we ever completely been able to express who we are authentically without any limitation, without any fear that we will be rejected for who we truly are? So the thing is, in this process, this is one of the most painful detachments that can occur, because what really has to happen is not just an acknowledgement of all the parts of you that you feel you need to protect and hide and reject in order to be loved by someone else. But this little feeling that we feel like, oh my gosh, I can't show that part because that part will make me vulnerable. It's going to cause me pain. I'm going to feel rejection. I'm going to feel not wanted. I'm going to feel hurt in some way. So this is the pain that causes stagnation in the body, that thought form, that whatever it is that you are authentically is not okay. It causes a huge blockage. And when I see this in the body, usually it's like a big black cloud, and it's usually here within the solar plexus. And the reason why is because we are so attached to an identity that we can't flow through this sense of empowerment. There's two things that are happening there, okay? And it has to do with the two polar expressions of the solar plexus. The solar plexus represents either empowerment or complete feelings of disempowerment. And when we feel disempowered, there's an anger that occurs over time. And we may not be aware of where that anger is coming from. We may not even know that we're angry. And sometimes it takes unpacking to a very early age to understand what really caused that anger. It's obviously the disconnect between what you truly feel and what's happening around you, in a sense where you're feeling like you have to just adapt or accept what's happening. So these things add up throughout our life, and they end up creating these blockages in the body. So in order to dissolve them, it takes time, okay? It's not something that's going to be done today. But what I want you to get comfortable with, and what I'm here to walk you through in a very nurturing way, supportive way, is the moment that you access that pain point in which it feels difficult to let go of the part of you that wants to defend and protect the self, you are very supportive to yourself. Because if we don't fully support and resolve that self, we sit with the emotion. We get stuck in that emotion. And so, for example, that anger will come up, and we're just going to be feeling so angry. We become overwhelmed with that anger, and we just want to sit with it. And so what happens is that it's not a sitting that is an observation. It's a sitting that's a feeling and experiencing. So remember, there's two ways to experience those emotions. When we experience it from the feeling body, and we're just addicted to the feeling of that nauseating, sickening feeling of rejection or pain or suffering or anger, which some of us are very addicted to because it's all we've known. It doesn't move out of the body. It stays there because we're feeling it. It's like we're savoring it. It's like we have something in our mouth that we continue to chew and savor and feel, okay? But when we observe it, when we're watching it, now we're becoming aware of what it's doing, and it's becoming aware of us, this emotion. And so when that happens, it can only show so many aspects of itself. It has information for you that once you receive that subconscious information, it can then be let go. It can then be let go out of the body. It can be processed through the body. It doesn't have to be stagnant anymore. So this is something that I would really like to practice with you, because this same technique and this same process of detaching from those programs is what's necessary to heal the body. This process is what we need to do to let go of illness, let go of pain, because in the same way that we want to hold on to emotions and programs and identities, toxic identities of ourselves, we want to hold on to illness and sickness and pain, because a lot of times it helped us. It helped us get away from difficult situations. It helped us not have difficult conversations with people that we should have had. It helped us not make choices that we should have made. It kind of protected us. It kind of kept us behind this barrier. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and the subconscious mind is the one running this program. And it can happen in such a subtle way. This is the link between understanding that all illness has a psychosomatic aspect to it. It stems in the emotions. When the emotions are out of balance and out of stagnant in the body, this is how they stay, fester, grow, and then it has an identity of its own from which we adapt to ourselves. So we go down these cyclical patterns of adapting these identities, and our body, because we're in constant survival mode, will just pull from the file of identities that serves us in that moment in order to be safe. The understanding of what it is to be safe has to change. We are heavily programmed in our society that we see it in films, we hear it in the music that we hear. The relationship that we have with our emotions is very toxic. There's a lot of denial, and not a lot of us have gone through the practice of really seeing what we truly think and feel, not just about our own emotions, but about the way that we're taught that we should express them and the way that we should engage with them. And so this is something that we have to kind of go through a re-education process to really understand how we, each individual, processes the emotions. What we'll find if we sit and talk to everyone is that we all have pretty similar intuitive understanding of how that emotion will serve us as a tool. We also will create different kinds of programs and thoughts, toxic thoughts, as a result of holding on to that emotion. And you'll find that if you talk to someone else that has the same program, they're going down the same thought process. It's very interesting. So today, let's go into that place. I'm going to take you into the emotion. And what I want you to see is, how would you be without that emotion if you weren't holding on to that identity? We're going to identify what it is. What are those identities that we're holding on to? So just think of the most repetitive program that you embody, that you feel keeps you safe, but that always ends up causing more problems for you. And you're also going to find them in repetitive relationships. So relationship patterns, you're going to find them in relationship patterns in your work, relationship patterns with your family. There's a common theme, and this is a result of an identity that you've adapted, that you keep presenting to the world. And so today, it's going to be a tough question. The question is, why do you need that identity? Okay. And I want you to feel very safe. Nothing has to leave today, but I do want you to see it. I want you to see what happens to the body when you bring it up. Okay. So let's get started. We're going to sit really comfortably. You're going to inhale deeply. And exhale. Okay, once you get really nice and comfortable where you are, let's try to bring some stillness into the body so we're not moving. Okay. And as you feel that stillness in your body, we're going to begin to ground ourselves down to the center of the earth. Go ahead and visualize a cord, a very powerful cord connecting to the solar plexus, the waist, the hips, the pelvic bone, all the way down to the center of the earth. Okay, we're going to create our protective field all around us. Go ahead and visualize. Make it really nice and protective. Okay. You're going to go into the root chakra now. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale. You're going to close that root chakra all the way down to the size of a dime. You're going to go up to the sacral chakra. Go ahead and close that chakra all the way down to the size of a dime. Solar plexus, close it all the way down to the size of a dime. Inhale deeply and exhale. Going up to the heart chakra. You're going to expand that chakra as wide as possible. Front and back. And this is another way to inform yourself on where we're holding on to blockages. When the chakras have a difficulty time moving, opening, or closing, I want you to just observe, read into that block that's not allowing you to observe and see what it tells you. What's blocking it? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it what program is there that is blocking you? Just tap in and allow whatever comes up to come up and hear it. Hear what the body communicates to you. You're going to go up to the throat chakra, expanding that throat chakra as wide as possible, opening the center of communication. Going to go up to the third eye, open that chakra, opening the center of intuition. Going up to the crown, breathing, inhaling deeply and exhaling, filling up your crown. Intellect, emotions, relationships. We're going all around that wheel, filling it in with your unique creative vibrational frequency. family, health. Spiritual self, fill that in. And purpose. And finally, your abundance, money flow, giving and receiving, fill that in. Inhale deeply and exhale. So now that you're aligned, I want you to start observing yourself in this moment. What are some of the things that we feel that we have to be? Let's tap into the past 24 hours. I want you to identify, as you observe yourself in your interactions throughout your day, what are some of the identities that we hold on to? You can start by tapping into your emotions. Your emotions will tell you right away because they're what you're feeling. Observing that. Take a look at yourself as you're interacting in those events that happened over the past 24 hours. Where are you hurting? Where do we feel pain from? Notice that. What are we protecting? I want you to go back to the past week and I want you to do the same. Let's take a look at it. Take a look at your interactions in the past week. Notice the actions that we take in order to defend ourselves or protect ourselves. Take a look at that. Notice the things that we do in order to not feel pain, not feel hurt. Not showing vulnerability. And take a look at that pain that you feel that is trying to be hidden or protected. And I want you to identify who is being hurt there. Who is really being hurt? Is it the true self or the ego? And once you've identified that, I want you to see them in front of you. See that part of you in front of you. You're going to ask them, to show you the very first time that you learned about this. First time that you learned that you had to be this way, act this way in order to protect this part of you. Take yourself there. What's happening to that self? How old are you in that moment? Look at yourself. What are you having to do in order to get what? What are we trying to get? Identify that. What are we trying to achieve with this interaction? Notice if the person you're interacting with is a man or a woman. Notice how they are making you feel. How familiar are you with this feeling? I want you to identify how does this way of being of this part of us, how does it help us? Identify that. Take your time and listen to what it says. What has it been doing for you all this time that we've been using this protective identity? Now I want you to see what would happen if we would let this go. Take a look at that. If you let go of this identity, does anyone get hurt? What are the repercussions of letting this identity go? And be as honest as possible. Don't sugarcoat anything. Don't try to not see or ignore things. Be absolutely real. I want you to listen to all of the internal dialogue of why it wouldn't be safe to let this go. And sometimes this is a part where we start to feel emotional because we are identifying parts of us that really held on to this, and we notice how it began to affect, how it has affected the way that we act, the way that we respond to things around us. So go ahead and see, what would we look like if we would let this go? How would we change? Notice the emotions that come up. Notice the parts of the body that respond to this question. It'll inform us as to where we're holding on to that, where healing can occur. Take a nice deep breath, inhale and exhale. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed with the things that we are realizing and seeing, and that's okay. We are in a state of observation. Nothing is actually happening right now. Nothing is going to change yet, but just observe. You must inform yourself so you can begin to prepare the subconscious mind to let go, of these things that don't serve us. What I want you to ask yourself is, does it cause more harm? Is it destructive or creative to continue holding on to this identity? So I want you to take all the emotions that you feel in your body as a result of all of this digging and exploring that you've done. And I want you to see, what is the opposite of the emotion you're feeling right now? How do we get to the opposite? What is it that yourself needs to not feel these emotions that are in the body at this moment? Okay. With every breath you take, I want you to begin to eliminate those emotions out of your body. We're going to practice bringing the body into zero. Right now, you guys are at 100, maybe 200, 150. These ranges of frequency that are a result of these specific emotions. So imagine yourself pushing out those emotions down to the center of the earth. You can visualize the bed underneath you, the chair underneath you, vacuuming it out of your body. And you're training yourself to control the emotions in and out of the body. So release them. Use your breath. Inhale, exhale powerfully to push it out of the body. And I want you to begin to pull in the opposite of that emotion into the body. And to help us move through these emotions, we're going to begin running energy. I want you to visualize from the center of the earth, a powerful, pure green energy comes rushing into the center core, creating a vortex of energy. It's going to wash all of this stuff, help you remove that. From source, you're going to bring down a powerful wave of golden light coming down through the crown of your head, combining with that green source energy. Green earth and source energy combine. You're going to create that channel, 10% going back down to the center of the earth. Push down green and gold down to the earth. And you're going to use this to clear out whatever is not moving from the body. Okay, let that go. Go back to the solar plexus. Green and gold goes 80% up from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your sphere. Push it out. The upper layers of the body get released, letting all that go. Very good. And we're going to focus on the solar plexus. And we're going to take that final 10% up the spine, down the arms, fill the inside of the body. And we provide the body with this neutral healing energy. Allow the body to absorb that healing into the legs, into the hips, into the core of the body, the chest, the arms, the head. We support the body, feeling safe, feeling secure. I want you to visualize now a room full of people that you feel trigger you to want to come into this emotion or program or identity that self-protects. And you can see them from your entire life since birth up until the age of now. Who are these people that we feel trigger us to want to come into this identity? Notice that. Put them all in one room. I want you to identify as you observe them and collect them in that room. What do they have in common? If you can narrow down what it is that they do that make you feel that way, what are they trying to get? What do they try to get from us by doing this? Becoming aware of these dynamics. I want you to shine your crown light on top of this whole group that you see in front of you. And you're going to see some contracts that appear in front of you. And these contractual agreements are the agreements that we have made with ourselves to adapt this identity in order to protect ourselves. So go ahead and take a look at those. And if you feel that you're ready to let that go, if you feel ready to just begin to shift in this part of the way we interact with ourselves, you can destroy them. You can burn them up, tear them up, whatever feels real to you. Let them go. Go ahead and notice the cords that are connecting you to these people. These cords represent the constant exchange of this identity. So in order to help ourselves change the way what we hold on to, we have to let go of these programs. Okay, this is the runways of which these exchanges are occurring. So we're going to neutralize them. You're going to cut cords on their end. And I want you to see the cords in your body and pull them out. Pull them out of your body. Notice what parts of your body these cords are connected to. Let them go. This is a very important part of the healing, because these cords are feeding in to the stagnation and the pain that is caused by this program that we keep repeating and playing out. So when you release those cords, it allows you to open space for healing in that part of your body. Okay. Pull them out. They can feel like tentacles or lines or strings. They're often wrapped around the organs connected to the chakras. So use your vision to see what you see and detach them out. Okay. We're going to bring what you needed now. You're going to bring white light from source into the body, and you're going to fill the body with this white light, filling in all the spaces, the cracks, all those little tiny open holes and spaces in the body. You're going to refill that with that white light. Breathing deeply to absorb it into the body. Okay, we begin to feel an emotional shift at this point. Just notice that. Okay. Make sure 360 degrees around your body, you've let go of these cords. Check your back. And trust yourself. Don't stop until it's gone, until you know it's out. You guys are doing amazing. I want you to go back to this fragments of yourself now. Yourself that's healing. See all of the selves that have held on to this identity now. I want you to look at them. See them in front of you. You're going to let all those people out of your space. Go ahead and let them leave your space. You can push them out if you feel. And you're going to focus on all of the aspects of yourself that hold on to this identity. Take a look at them. How do they look? How do they appear to you? You're going to heal them. Go ahead and visualize giving them everything that they need, supporting this new identity. Feel it in your root chakra. Feel that healing in the sacral chakra. Feel it in the solar plexus. Feel it in the heart, the throat, the third eye. You're reprogramming the entire body, not just those specific parts. And I want you to see all of these aspects of yourself merging into one self. I want you to observe that self. How does this self act? How do they deal when we are triggered with one of those people in that crowd come up and do something to us that triggers that need to put this false identity forward? Notice this new self. How does it respond? Does it feel safe with this new self? If it doesn't, I want you to give it what it needs until it does. As you see yourself there, I want you to notice how bright, how empowered this self is without that program. It has learned a new way of interacting with that painful trigger. So, parts of you that have been dormant, parts of you that have been protected, are now informed on how it could be if we could embody this more authentic self without responding from a place of fear. I want you to see this self and you're going to absorb it into your body. Inhale deeply, take it in as a part of you. I want you to focus that part into all the parts of your body that feel pain, that are out of alignment. Feed it back into the body. Inhale as you reintegrate this fragment of yourself into the body, healing the body. And you're going to focus on the parts of the body that were feeling hurt, and you're going to pull out any stagnation, any pain, where the illness is, where you have imbalances. I want you to clear out these spots in your body. You're going to visualize, you can visualize a vortex or you can visualize a vacuum pulling those pieces out until you can feel a shift in that. This is how you heal the body. Very good. Inhale deeply and exhale. We're going to go back to the root chakra now. We're going to release all of these memories from the past, sending them down to the center of the earth, 7 bodies in, 7 bodies out, all charges down to 0, negative, infinite. Go ahead and visualize clearing those 7 layers of your body. You're going to go to the root and you're going to open that back into a balanced state. You're going to spin it as fast as possible. Release once again any kind of blockage that's within the root chakra that's holding on to that identity. Any fear, any programs from the chakra. Okay, we're just helping do a final cleanse of the body. Going up to the sacral chakra, you're going to open that back up. Sacral. Spinning it as fast as possible, clearing out all those blockages. Going to go up to the solar plexus, open it, spinning it as fast as possible, letting go of all the programs in the solar plexus that help hold on to this identity, to this pain body. You go up to the heart and the throat, balancing those parts back into a balanced space, spinning them, clearing them. These are usually the parts that are mostly affected. Going up to the third eye, spinning it as fast as possible. We make an oath to ourselves that we are going to honor our intuition, what the body intuitively needs in every moment throughout our day. We're going to be silent so that we can listen. We can be more observant. And instead of just reacting as a cause and effect, we are creating experiences from a place of conscious awareness, knowing how they affect us down the road. You're going to go up to your crown. You're going to send up your creative color up to your eighth. Illuminate the eighth. Illuminate the ninth. The 10th. The 11th. The 12th. And the 13th. Above you is a white light of source. Bring that white light down over your body. Fill in the body. Seal the healing that you did today. Excellent, you guys. You did amazing. I want you to gently come back into the room and open your eyes. Very good. So sometimes this exercise can often be very difficult to do. It can be very hard. Because we see parts of us that have been tender and have been really needing protection. And sometimes it's hard to acknowledge that. And sometimes it's difficult to know what to do with this part of us. So did anyone have a hard time knowing what to do with that toxic dynamic that we're bringing in from an earlier time? Let's go to okay, Alexander, you want to unmute yourself, love?
So the hardest thing that I had to let go of was this identity.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, I think. Go ahead.
So the hardest thing that I had to let go of was, like, I went all the way down, and so we're going all the way down the root, and in wounded feminine, it's like, what does this identity do to serve me? Is like, I have this idea that if I act like a wounded child, then it would make people like want to help me or give me that attention or give me that like feeling of like nourishment, or like, basically I felt like the parasite. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was the parasite, and for me to let go of this, it felt like I had no identity, because everything that I know and everything I've ever accomplished has been from this feeling, of like trying to siphon energies from others. So it's like
amazing. And that's exactly right. This is what happens. And we realize that we are parasites because we're not owning our space. We expect others to fill in the wound. And the problem is that we didn't know that we had the tool of questioning that part of us. We think, well, that's how I am. I'm a result of my experiences, and there's no way to change that. But we change it by first becoming aware of it, and then asking that question. Well, what is it that you need? And once you acknowledge that little simple key point, your entire way of behaving can change, because you start to have compassion, not just for yourself, but also for the other person that you keep wanting to get this thing from. And what you realize is the other person probably doesn't have that tool either. Oftentimes they don't have the tool to give you, what you needed in that moment. And we also vibrationally, as we did in class 2, we looked at the map of of all beings. We're so interconnected, and we're connected together and grouped together by vibration. So in our families, we're grouped together in that family because we have matching vibrational frequency. That means we have matching lessons, we have matching uh, toxic belief systems. So we're all grouped together so that we can all heal them. This is an entire ancestral lineage. And each person that keeps birthing in that lineage over and over again has an opportunity to clean up themselves in order to clean all their past fragments, because it is all fragments of one giant organism. So when we are expecting anyone in that organism to feed or save us or protect us or help us not feel something, we truly are taking from where there is nothing. And that's why we end up having very toxic relationships. We end up feeling pain, disappointment, all of these very disconnecting emotions that are toxic for us. So, Alexander, you hit the nail on the head. That is exactly what we end up feeling. Yeah. So this is huge. We can take this idea micro, talk about us individually, but we can also look at it macro. What's happening in the world around us? It is the same design. Systems that are not procreation are pro-destruction. And so they become parasitic. These systems need us to continue behaving in certain ways. They need us to keep sick. Otherwise, the pharmaceutical industry wouldn't work. We have all so many different interconnected things in our reality that are behaving in a parasitic manner. And the sooner we understand that, the sooner we can choose to move away from the contribution, our contribution that comes from that same suffering and pain.
Get off of me. Get off.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, Luana. Good to see you.
You too.
Sure.
Are we still supposed to be live on YouTube? I just wanted to ask. I don't mind sharing.
Yeah.